Welcome to Karpathos, a Greek island, a beautiful place to practice. We're going to work through some hip openers today. You know the hips hold a lot of emotion. We need to release that emotion. Sometimes you might find an overwhelming emotion in your hip practice, but we need to be doing that release. So just begin in an easy pose so the hips gently begin to open up. Just close your eyes for a breath or two and maybe send that exhale out of those hip joints. And we're going to release our hands to our thighs. Bring the soles of the feet together in Baddha Konasana. Go ahead and pull those heels close into your groin. Wrap your hands around your feet, and possibly you open your feet like a book, having the outsides of the feet to touch one another, really feeling the opening in your hips. If you want to flop your butterfly wings a little bit here, working right into the hips. Then we're going to sit nice and tall with your feet open like a book. On your exhale, pull your elbows into your waist as you fold forward with a nice straight spine. When you've come to your limit, go ahead and drop your chin to your chest. The vision is having your head laying right in your feet. Maybe on each exhale, you float a little closer to those feet as your belly contracts. When you're ready, go ahead and bring the body up. Release. And we're going to make our way to a tabletop position on our mat. Wrists under your shoulders, your fingers are spread wide, your knees are under your hips. Do some nice big circle rotations with your hips. Just beginning to make that fluid thinner. Maybe you get your head involved, your spine involved. Whatever feels good for your body. Yoga is about taking care of yourself. Changing the direction of those circles. And when you've gone the same amount of time in both directions, we're going to come back up to our tabletop and prepare for a dog. I like to go ahead and move my palm prints, one palm print forward, rotating your shoulder blades away from each other. The soft part of the elbows will face over the middle finger, flat palms. Curl your toes under, spread your shoulder blades on your back and drag them towards your tailbone, lifting your hips in the air for dog. Maybe you cycle your feet out a little bit here, warming up into the legs and the hamstrings and the back of the legs, chin to the chest. Press into your fingers, even the fat pads on your hands. Come to your tiptoes, yearn those heels towards the mat as you push the thighs towards the wall behind you. Inhaling your right leg up behind you, bend at the knee, dropping the heel towards the left glute, opening up in the front of that hip. Bringing the right leg back to center, float it down. Let's bring the left leg up, same thing. Bring it up in a three-legged dog, bend at the knee, heel towards the right glute, and feel the front of that hip open up. Floating that leg back down. Take a breath or two in your best dog this morning. Breathing here. We're going to move into lizard pose by raising our right leg up behind us, sending it to the top of the mat on the outside of the right hand. Bringing the left knee down. Hug that right knee into the right shoulder. Come to flat palms. Begin to lunge a little bit deeper, feeling the stretch in the psoas of the left leg, that left hip getting a nice stretch. If you can come all the way down to the mat or forearms, you can do that here or stay where you are. Breathing into that left hip. Walk the body up a little bit. Let's come to the outside of the right foot as we take the right hand to the knee and open up. Open up at the hip, take the gaze over the right shoulder. Come back to center, releasing your hands down. Step back to dog. Chin to the chest, press into all those fingers. Inhaling the left leg up behind you, send it forward on the outside of the left hand for lizard on this side, dropping the right knee, hugging the left knee into the shoulder. Lunge a little bit forward, feeling that stretch in the front of the right thigh this time. Keep the breath moving. If you want to come down in your forearms or blocks like you did on the other side, now is the time to do that. Sending the breath out of that left and right hip. Walk yourself back a little bit. Come to the outside of the left foot as you bring the left hand to the shoulder, to the knee, and open up, looking over the shoulder. Breathing in your lizard. Coming back to center. Begin to curl your back toes under, bring the body up. We're going to walk ourselves all the way around to a deep straddle. Fold as deep as you can here. Feel the stretch in the hips. Where is the balance of weight on your feet? Find a nice balance point. Let's take our fingertips and turn them around and walk them as deep behind you as you can as you pull your chin closer to your chest. Keeping that breath moving, feeling the whole inner leg stretch. Walk your hands back out underneath your shoulders. Heel toe your feet in just a little bit. Turn them out to 45 degrees and bring your body up for goddess pose. Tuck your tail, straight spine, open at the knees. Press into the feet as they begin to tire. Open your arms in T position if that feels good for you. Breathing here. One more deep breath. Hands to heart center. Bring them all the way down to the mat. Fold as deep as you can. Bring the body up halfway. Heel toe your feet in till they're almost as wide as the hips. Point the toes out 45 degrees, bringing your tail down right into Malasana, your yogi squat. Use your elbows to open up at the knees. Make your spine just as straight as you can. Breathing in here, opening the hips. Sending the right hand down to the mat. Inhale the left arm up to the sky. Release. Left hand to the earth. Open the right arm. Nice twist and squat. Release. Let's heel toe ourselves to the top of the mat. Nice forward fold. We're going to use a prop for pigeon pose, so set yourself up with a block or a cushion that can be used underneath of your right hip to start with. Step back to downward facing dog. What does your dog feel like now? It should be getting easier, becoming a resting pose. Inhale your left leg up, your right leg we'll start with. Send that shin to the top of the mat, the right knee to the right wrist, the left ankle to the left wrist. Find your prop, support your right hip. Really support it, shove it underneath there. Come to your fingertips, take the gaze up to the sky as you sink your pelvis into the earth. Take a look around to your left leg. Make sure it's going straight out from the hip and the toes are pointed. Breathing here. You can begin to fold the body down. Come to forearms or your fists or blocks. Pull your right thigh into the hip socket. That hip will go back and the left hip will come forward a little bit. You want them to be on the plane the same as the short edge of your mat. Breathing here. So you have to send the exhale out of that right hip to allow it to relax. Two more deep breaths in your pigeon pose. After your second exhale, begin to walk your hands back. Come to your tippy fingers again. Look up, put a back bend in, sink the pelvis into the earth. Coming to flat palms. You can either stay here if you want to bend at the left knee, reaching back for that left foot, stretching in the quad, bringing the heel close to the glute, and if you want to release the right hand in your mermaid pose. Breathing here. Release everything to the mat. Curl your left toes under. Push yourself back to a three-legged dog so the right leg goes all the way up into the air, bending at the knee, heel towards the glute. Look under the right shoulder, armpit. Breathing here. Floating the right leg down to the mat. Let's move our prop to the other side, preparing for the left-legged pigeon. On your inhale, send that left leg up behind you and exhale that shin towards the top of the mat. So the knee goes towards the left wrist, the ankle towards the right wrist. Begin to settle into your pigeon. Check that back leg. Make sure it's going straight out behind you. Come to your tippy fingers. Sink your pelvis into the earth as you create a small back bend. Pulling your left thigh into the hip socket. And exhale, fold all the way down. To fists or blocks or all the way to the earth. We'll take a few breaths to allow that left hip to release. Releasing all the emotion, all the stress. Two more deep breaths. Begin to walk the body back up. Come to your fingertips again. Sink your pelvis in. Look up. Create that back bend. Flat palms. Go ahead and bend at the right knee this time. Reaching back with the right foot. Quad stretch here. Pull it in. You can raise your left hand on this side. Go ahead and do it. I'm not going to do that on this side. Breathing. And release the toes down. Curl them under. Hands to the mat. Push back to a three-legged dog as you raise that left leg in the air, bending at the heel towards the glute. Releasing. Float the left leg down. Bring your knees to the earth. Remove your prop. Widen your knees, big toes touch. Bring yourself all the way back to sit on your heels. Maybe you wiggle a little space, forehead to the earth. Maybe you bring your palms back by your heels, let your shoulders just melt into the earth. Breathing nice and deep. Begin to roll the body up, bringing the heels together. Sit on your heels for just a breath or two, folding the palms in your lap. Go ahead and swing your legs around to a nice, comfortable seated position like we begun. Maybe you put the opposite foot in front this time. Hands to heart center. Thank yourself for showing up on your mat, releasing that emotion and tension in the hips. We'll see you on the mat. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with us today. This is Candace, 500-hour teacher trained in yoga. Follow the links below to find out more about our events and our classes here in Arkville, New York. Namaste.